Hey everybody, it's ScomletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today I'll be playing another premiere draft of March of the Machine. Without further ado, let's get into the draft. Some really sweet options here. We have Preening Champion as one of the best commons in the format. Phyrexian Awakening is pretty nice for the black-white Phyrexians deck, giving the board Vigilance and getting you a 4/4 Vigilance by itself. And Jin-Gitaxias, which is pretty sweet if you draft a lot of non-creature spells with mana value 3 or greater. You can get a lot of card draw off of it. Without that, though, it's just a 5-mana 5/5, which is not that exciting. So Preening Champion, probably the best bang for its buck for its mana cost generally, but Jin-Gitaxias is the sweetest and coolest card here, so I think I'm going to roll with Jin-Gitaxias. The big issue with that, if I'm trying to be mega competitive here, is that I am passing some great blue stuff, so I don't think I'm going to be getting a lot of blue in pack 3. In pack 2, when the players on my left are passing to me. But if blue is open enough pack 1, we can get some good blue cards pack 1 and pack 3 to go with Jin-Gitaxias and go from there. We do have a pack 1 pick 2 Invasion of Amonkhet, which is a fantastic battle, probably the best battle at uncommon in the format. Each player mills 3, and then each opponent discards a card and you draw a card for 3 mana, so it's decent value up front. And it fills the graveyard for the second half, where if you can flip the Lazotep convert, you're going to get a 4/4 copy of the best creature in a graveyard, which is absurd. There are some really good abilities on creatures in this format, so having a 4/4 Jin-Gitaxias is still very good, or a 4/4 Knight of the New Coalition is great, or a 4/4 Phyrexian Censor. I don't know, there's a lot of great stuff Invasion of Amonkhet can do. Usually just becomes like a 4/4 flyer when it flips, but that's still quite nice. Pack 1 pick 3 now. We have an Omen Hawker, which is good with incubate tokens and flip Phyrexians. Like Aetherblade Agent has one of these flip abilities that the Omen Hawker is good with. So it can be really nice in the right deck. Everything else here, pretty filler. Converter Beast, I think, is my favorite monocolored card. But my second favorites are Aetherblade Agent and Omen Hawker, where the Omen Hawker goes into less decks but is more powerful in the decks that it goes in. Aetherblade Agent pretty consistently can show up as a 2-drop in your deck and be fine. I might just go for consistency here and take Aetherblade Agent. We could also be a green splashier deck, take a Converter Beast to try to find some Blighted Burgeonings and be green, blue, and black. That could definitely be a thing. Yeah, Omen Hawker, Aetherblade Agent, Converter Beast, I think are the best picks, but played a little safe, take the Aetherblade Agent. Pack 1, pick 4 now. We have Cyber Cryptomancer, which is good in blue. That is it for blue and black cards. We could take it. It protects Jin-Gitaxias really well. It protects a flipped Gitaxian Mindstinger quite well as well. Not incredible, but I think I'll take it here. I think Overgrown Pest is the strongest card, but with Invasion of Amonkhet and Jin-Gitaxias as my first 2 picks, I would like to try pretty hard to stick to blue-black. Primarily blue. Pack 1, pick 5, there's a completed Huntmaster, which is good for a grindier game if you have some expendable creatures. Ideally, cards like Cyber Cryptomancer play pretty well with it. If we can get a lot of copies of Ichor Drinker, can be good. It is a really slow, kind of narrow card, but I like it the best out of all the blue and the black. And honestly, I don't really like any of these off-color cards too much either. I think Completed Huntmaster is fine. We could take Scoured Barrens for potential splash. Don't have to build around that at all. It's just if I end up getting some good white cards, it'll be easier to splash them in. Could be the pick. Yeah, Huntmaster versus Scoured Barrens are the best, I think. Tidal Terror is fine. I think that's the third best. I'll take the Huntmaster. Pack 1, pick 6. Disturbing Conversion plays pretty well in the blue-black deck, because you do have some cards that care about milling each player. Invasion of Amonkhet plays pretty well with it. Take a Disturbing Conversion here, pretty fine with that. The City on Fire for going for big red beat sticks, if I want to do that. That is a pick 7 of Farah's Dispersal. Very happy to see that trying to play blue. This is a card that works really well with Jin-Gitaxias, because we can cast it for only one mana if they're attacking us. and it's still technically a mana value 3 or greater spell, so that's going to be pretty sweet. It's also just really good interaction in general for any blue deck. This is a super high pick, so we're happy to see it. Eyes of Gataxias, another great blue card. Very good value play, making sure you keep hitting creatures on curve and drawing extra cards. Now, Flitting Gorilla's fine. I think we're pretty locked in on blue for sure. Nothing off color makes me want to push off blue-black this pack. But yeah, seeing that Afara's Dispersal and Eyes of Gataxias in a row, that's gotten my spirits up quite a bit. Now I'm pretty confident we can be drafting blue with Jin Gataxias. Still leaning towards black with Invasion of Amonkhet, but not married to black. We don't have any other great black cards. We've got fine ones, Aetherblade Agent and Huntmaster. Gorilla's pretty filler, but most of all, we have good blue. I'm not going to main deck Glistening Deluge, so I think I'll take a Tidal Terror here to go with our blue stuff. And for pack 1, pick 11, it's all blue and black. They're not good cards, but they're the right colors. We could take a Doombringer to maybe help flip an Invasion of Amonkhet. Not going to be exciting, but it could be okay. Just going to rare draft an uncommon there. Not going to end up playing either of those. And let's see if we can open up some sweet stuff in pack 2, because I'm pretty sure these next 3 picks are going to be super filler. They do look to be the case. When you're in positions like this where there's nothing you want, you can go ahead and rare draft by just holding down the Alt key on Windows or Options on Mac. And it'll tell you how many of everything you own in your collection. If you already have 4 out of 4, then it'll be a check mark. If not, it'll say 0 out of 4, 1 out of 4, 2 out of 4. Urn of Godfire. And a Plains as the last pick, so we'll see what we opened up. Pack 2, pick number 1. We've got a Printing Champion, best common in the format, incredible card. Gives you a cheap evasive threat to attack the Invasion of Amonkhet while still giving you a blocker, which blocks 3/1s incredibly well, but it also can stack up into some decent double blocks. Helps make it harder for your opponent to flip one of their battles out of nowhere because you've got a chump blocker left behind. And it helps you convoke spells by giving you 2 creatures off of 1 card. There's a lot of hidden extra features and synergies with this card that just play incredibly well and make it the best common in the entire format. So I'm going to take Printing Champion here over Yarok, which would be a fun card to splash in a little bit of green for and try to take a bunch of good enter the battlefield effects. But I need a win today. I need a W. I'm going to go for some really competitive stuff and take a Printing Champion. Pack 2, pick 2 is a bunch of hot poop, hot garbage on color. Wicked Slumber and Protocol Knight. Neither of these cards are really for a blue-black deck. We can take a Tangled Skyline, which would be a strong splash if we end up splashing green. But pretty much a complete miss, that pack. Now we have a Vanquish the Weak or a Temporal Cleansing. Both are pretty solid here. I think I like Temporal Cleansing a little bit more with the Convoke and the ability to get larger creatures. It's not going to permanently deal with whatever we're targeting, but Vanquish the Weak, just only hitting the small stuff is a pretty big drawback. We'll take Cleansing, maybe we'll Vanquish the Weak if we're super lucky. Pack 2, pick 4, Halo Forager is incredible in these decks. There's a lot of cards milling each player, like Invasion of Amonkhet and Disturbing Conversion, to fill the graveyards to add to the number of instants and sorceries we could choose from when we cast this. More often than not, it's going to be a 3/1 flyer and a removal spell all in one, which is incredible. Pack 2, pick 5, we can go ahead and take a Vanquish the Weak now. That'll be fine. Take a Halo Charge Scab here in case I open up any of the combos with this. There's a Breach the Multiverse that mills each player 10 and reanimates a creature. With Halo Charge Scab, this goes infinite. And there's C-Double, which copies a creature you control. That also goes infinite with Halo Charge Scab, so we take it in case we hit those cards. It's not really that good without them, so not competing with too much in that pack, though. I don't really like Rona very much. I don't think you're going to be in too many positions where you have 2 extra cards in hand that you'd rather have a 3/4 than 2 cards. I think I'd rather just take a Tidal Terror. I'm just not a huge fan. 4 mana 3/4 is just kind of clunky, especially with a difficult mana cost like that. Pack 2, pick 8. Another Cyber Cryptomancer would be fine, but I really like how Eyes of Gataxias looks in this deck, both helping to up our creature count while helping up our mana value 3 or greater non-creature spells count for Jin Gataxias. Feels super nice. I mean, it's in the name, Eyes of Gataxias. They were made to go with Jin Gataxias perfectly. I don't know how many eyes Jin actually has, but I was going to say 2 Eyes of Gataxias is a huge flavor win. We have both of Jin Gataxias' eyes, but Jin Gataxias might have a million eyes, who knows? They've got a lot of tentacles popping off. Those tentacles with the blue lights on the end, I think those are all their eyes. Just coming out of all different areas on Jin Gataxias. Alright, pack 2, pick 9. I guess I'll take another Halo Charge Scab, because Oilcaster, Oculus Whelp, Tremendously Filler, Mirrored and Avenged is not where you want to be for your removal. Pack 2, pick 10. We wheeled both of the blue cards, which is a good sign to an extent, but I don't like either of them for this deck. It's non-creature, it's non-creature. Oh, I think I'm just going to take a Protocol Knight. I don't think it's going to make the cut, but it is what it is. Wicked Slumber is definitely not going to make the cut in this deck. Taking a bunch of filler stuff for the collection in the end of the draft. Well, the end of the pack. Still got 1 pack to go, luckily. And yeah, we're 20 out of 40, well, 20 out of 23 cards right now. So, should be able to find some great stuff to wrap up this deck. So pack 3, pick 1, Pelucranos Reborn. A little late to go for the triple green card, sadly. We do have a Render Inert, which is fine to help flip an Invasion of Amonkhet, but with only 1 invasion of the deck, it's not great. Does still kill some 0/0 Phyrexians with +1/+1 counters on them, which is cool, but a little bit narrow. Rather have Meeting of Minds or Nezumi Informant here. Solid, cheap card draw spell or a solid, cheap creature. I only have 2 2-mana creatures. I would definitely like more than that. Let's take Nezumi Informant first. If I can wheel Meeting of Minds or Skittering Surveyor, I think both of those would be fine to make the cut, or the Render Inert. If it comes back really late, we'll consider it. Pack 3, pick 2. We now get another 2-mana creature, a very good one, Skyclave Aerialist. It's another flyer to help flip our Invasion of Amonkhet. And it's got good value off the flip ability, being able to draw us a card when it flips no matter what. Potentially put a land right onto the board. Pack 3, pick 3. I don't think our removal is incredible right now. Yeah, our removal's pretty bad. We have a Vanquish the Weak. We have a Temporal Cleansing, so I'm pretty happy to take Final Flourish here. I am taking it over Scornblade Berserker, which is another great cheap creature. But again, our removal's pretty lackluster right now. Let's get some better removal into this deck. Pretty important for the blue-black archetypes. Oracle of Tragedy plays really well in the blue-black archetype. It sets up your draws early game, and then it makes sure you don't mill out late game, shuffling some of your best cards back into your library, so you're just drawing straight gas. I like Oracle of Tragedy a lot. I've actually moved up quite a bit on this card since the April Arena Open. It just played really well in our first draft deck. Timuret is a card I do like quite a bit in this archetype, but I think I'm higher on Oracle of Tragedy than Timuret now, which is surprising because I do really like Timuret for the archetype. I don't think Wingspan or Thunderhead Squadron are particularly good for this kind of deck, but I'll take Wingspan. Just in case. I don't think it's going to make it in the deck, though. And this pack really helped our curve out. Now we have 4 2-mana creatures. I don't really count the Cryptomancer as a 2-mana creature because you never want to just run it out on turn 2. But yeah, we've got 4 of those now. Still got the double Eyes of Gataxias at 3 mana, a Preening Champion. Curve's looking great. Deck is looking solid. Lackluster removal is a pretty big hindrance for this kind of strategy. But not much we can do about that here. There's not much that I took over removal spells. I don't think I'm playing any of these again. Just put an Etched Familiar in the sideboard. Yeah, we just didn't see any copies of Deadly Derision or Merciless Repurposing. Those are the really good removal spells for blue-black control. The Deadly Derision blows up any target and gives you a treasure token. The Merciless Repurposing exiles any target, lets you flip a 3/3 Incubator. Very good removal spells, but we didn't get either of those. Unlikely to play Moment of Truth, but I don't really care that I don't have a 4th copy of Infected Defector in my collection yet, so too bad. Wow, well, I will play a Transcendent Message. This card is great. Really expensive, but you can draw a lot of cards. If this thing resolves late game, you're going to be far ahead in card advantage. You got to make sure you're not milling yourself out, I guess. But we do have, not a Cyber Cryptomancer, a Oracle of Tragedy to help make sure that doesn't happen. Yeah, Meeting of Minds, Transcendent Message is the super juiced up, just unstoppable version of Meeting of Minds, pretty much. I do like Expedition Lookout for this archetype. 2 mana, 2/3 defender early game to block your opponent's little aggro threats, and then late game it becomes an unblockable threat of your own, which is nice. Disturbing Conversion. Good for the archetype. We're probably turning into just the full-on mill blue-black deck here. I don't think I'm playing any of these. I'll take the Combat Trick, though. And definitely not playing any of these. That is going to do it for the draft. Let's go ahead and... well, as soon as we get our last pick, all right, Burning Sun's Fury, let's go ahead and build ourselves a nice little blue-black deck here. All right, so we're on to the deck building, and we only have 44 cards here, so we only need to cut 4, which is nice. Don't have to cut a lot. Our creature count's a little higher than it looks like because of double Eyes of Gataxias, which is nice. I like having as many 2-drop and 3-drop creatures as possible for Transcendent Message. Doombringer's okay with our Invasion of Amonkhet, but it's one of our weaker creatures. Protocol Knight looks pretty bad in here. We only have one other Knight, and that's Preening Champion. Huntmaster does actually look okay in here. We have Oracle of Tragedy, Nezumi Informant, and Cyber Cryptomancer being super expendable, but I guess that's it. It's not looking great. Flitting Gorilla also not looking great, but drawing an Invasion of Amonkhet would be fine. Halo Charge Scab also not the greatest thing ever. I think I like all of these cards a good amount. These are the ones on the chopping block, and we need to cut 4 out of these 6. Let's cut Protocol Knight and Doombringer immediately. Cut 1 Scab. Yeah, we might be a little bit low on expendable creatures for Huntmaster. Let's drop that. Keep the Gorilla in for another evasive threat, and keep 1 Halo Charge Scab in. A little bit of late game card selection there. And I think we will call that a deck. Alright, so here's a look at the final deck list for today. We've got a solid blue-black deck here. Not an incredible one, much more average than a lot of the ones that I've drafted recently, but we have a bunch of 2-mana creatures to get us blocking in the early game, as well as some cheap evasive threats to help attack our potential Invasion of Amonkhet. And then we have a bunch of solid 2-for-1 value plays to try to go up in card advantage while we deal with some of our opponent's best cards. Cards like Eyes of Gataxias, draw a card and get a creature. Cards like Dispersal, bounce a card and surveil 2. Informant hits the board as a 1/1 and makes our opponent discard a card. Aerialist gives us a flyer and draws us a card. A bunch of stuff like that. The big bomb here is Transcendent Message to draw 1,000,000 cards and go very far ahead in card advantage. Drop down some dorky Title Tears or something after we're ahead in cards. And the second biggest bomb is Jin Gataxias, which is going to draw us cards when we cast non-creature spells with mana value 3 or greater, like Afar's Dispersal, Eyes of Gataxias, Vanquish the Weak, Temporal Cleansing, and Meeting of Minds. So kind of just a blue-black deck loaded with card draw and card advantage in general. So I'm a little worried about milling out, because I also have a bit of mill with Disturbing Conversion, Halo Charge Scab, and Invasion of Amonkhet. So I'm hoping Oracle of Tragedy puts in a lot of work to make sure we don't mill out, shuffling 4 cards back into our deck a couple times potentially if we draw it later in the game. And that'll also make sure that we just straight up draw gas in the end game. So not the perfect blue-black deck, because one of the best things you can do in these blue-black decks is have the really big 2-for-1 removal in the late game to grind out good value. Deadly Derision isn't a 2-for-1 removal spell, but it's an excellent one that destroys a creature and makes a treasure. Merciless Repurposing is the really good one I love to have multiple copies of in this archetype. Didn't see any Derision or Repurposing in this draft pod, so our top-end removal is super weak. Our removal in general is not as good as you want it to be in this archetype, but other than that, we've got the Great Battle, we've got good evasive threats, and a lot of card advantage, so definitely not a bad deck here, but more around that mediocre to average range where we're going to be competing to our best and probably getting somewhere around a 2-3 to a 6-3, somewhere in that middle range there. But I'll do as best as I can, see if we can't turn this into a 7-win run. But we'll find out how it does as we head into the gameplay. Here we are on the play for game 1. Lack of a blue source is super bad here, but a single island can make basically the entire hand castable, and we can flip the agent to try to draw cards, but that's if they don't kill it early or have a blocker. I think there's just way too much that can go wrong here with this monocolored hand. I'm going to mull here. Okay, this is significantly better, but we are going to start this game down a card, which is not great. I think I'll drop a Disturbing Conversion. We'll see what we draw here. Alright, we're going to start this game down 2 cards, because that's an incredible 2-for-1. Turn 3, they flip it into a 3-3 and draw a card off of it. Not actually sure what I discard here. I don't have any double black cards in this deck, so I guess I'll discard a Swamp. If I end up needing more mana, I can just Island Cycle the Tidal Terror. What makes me not want to discard the Tidal Terror is, like, if I discard the Tidal Terror, I don't have anything I need more than 4 mana for anyway. I guess if I draw into a Halo Charge Scab, that's a little awkward, but that's where I can just Island Cycle the Terror then. Alright, our opponent played a Scornblade Berserker, put a counter on the Captive Weird, which is pretty strong, because now the Captive Weird can flip into a 4-4 and draw them a card. If I respond to them trying to transform it by putting it back into their hand, it's going to slow them down quite a bit and completely get rid of that +1/+1 counter. So that will be the plan if they go for the flip here. Even though I won't be able to cycle Tidal Terror the turn I do that, because I can only play Dispersal for 1 mana if it's targeting an attacking creature, and obviously the Captive Weird doesn't flip when it attacks. Just flips at sorcery speed. Invasion of Amonkhet is the play, so we are going to Island Cycle then. Wow, and I have to discard a card here. That's pretty bad right now. Discard the Conversion, I guess, and I've got no straight up removal. Alright, so our opponent has played 2 2-for-1s. We mulligan down a card, and our opponent played 2 2-for-1s now. Captive Weird to have a creature on board and draw an extra card. Invasion of Amonkhet, they draw a card, we discard a card. If they flip the invasion, it's going to be a 3-for-1. This is really looking incredibly bad right now. There's an Aerialist to help get back into the game. That'll draw us another card. That's a start. Play a Halo Charge Scab. There's nothing great to put on top of our deck, but it's way more mana efficient than playing Aerialist right now. If I top deck another land, I can play and flip Aerialist in 1 turn. Alright, there we go. We'll put our own Invasion of Amonkhet on top. That's the plan there. I think if Oracle of Tragedy dies, we're going to shuffle some stuff back in at this point. We're already 9 cards down, 9 cards milled. Next turn I have the mana to play the Invasion of Amonkhet and the Skyclave Aerialist. That'll be really nice. Yeah, this is the position I'm talking about here. We have 1 card in hand, our opponent has 6. They'd have to be very, very bad cards for our opponent not to be in the lead right now. And one of them is a Deadly Derision. Clear out our 4/4. Let's drop Invasion of Amonkhet. See what we draw into. We hit another land. Do I have any other draw and discard a card? I don't think I do. I think it's just Oracle of Tragedy to draw and then discard. Yeah, so we should just run out this land and drop the Aerialist. Alright, I'm empty-handed. What are your final 4 cards? Halo Forager's one of them, which is super bad because now they kill Aerialist before we draw a card off of it. They're going to Final Flourish it. And they have a 3/1 flyer to hit the Invasion of Amonkhet with. And Aetherblade Agent is another card. That was a tremendously good draw. Preening Champion gets to block Halo Forager and chump block 1 thing on the ground. The problem is the Aetherblade Agent gets to attack as a 3/3 Death Touch. The Captive Weird attacks as a 3/3. Neither of which I'm particularly good at blocking. But that was a very live draw. See what their Captive Weird draws them. Draws them a Nezumi Informant. So a 2-mana 1/1, we're going to have to play whatever we draw immediately or they'll make us discard it with the rat. Okay. Yeah, that's really bad. I can trade Forager off and chump another so that the invasion doesn't flip. Or like double block, kill a 3/3 and chump another. So would I rather kill a flyer or a 3/3? I think I'd rather... I have no way to crack back and kill my own invasion because this is going to hit the board as an untapped 4/4. What is this going to copy? Because that's a big question here. It can be a 5/5 with that backup ability. It can be a 4/4 flyer with either of these. It could be a Halo Charge Scab. Tidal Tear could be a 4/4 unblockable with Expedition Lookout. Yeah, I mean, I think I just stopped the flip here. Kill the flyer, block the Mind Stinger so they don't draw a card. And then I'm just going to shuffle in my best creatures. So they at least can't copy those. Or mana value 3 or greater, they could still copy the unblockable one. But these give me chances of top decking them as well. Yeah, I think those are all pretty good. Shuffle those in. A Temporal Cleansing. It's not bad. I do have to cast it right now or they'll discard it from my hand with the Informant. Oh, I could Cleansing their Invasion of Amonkhet. I could also Cleansing my own. I don't think that's the play though because they have good enter the battlefield effects. Let's just hit the Mind Stinger. If I hit the Conjurer when they redraw it, they get to flip it and draw another card. With this one, they just have to dump a bunch of mana into it again later. They don't get to draw any extra cards off of it. Do I just bite the bullet, let them flip the invasion right now, and just do 1 damage to ours in case we redraw a Halo Forager? I feel like I probably do, because if I chump this turn, the sequence of draws I would have to keep them from flipping this forever is insane. I would have to literally never miss. I'd have to never draw land again. And I've still got like 6 lands left in here. Yeah, I think it's probably better to deal 1 damage to my Invasion of Amonkhet, so that if I draw a Halo Forager, I only have to hit it 1 time with my 3/1 flyer. So there's Eyes of Gataxias from my opponent, and yeah, they were about to play 3 more creatures this turn, basically. They can play an Aetherblade Agent and an Nezumi Informant, and then they can just flip the Incubator the next turn, so there we're going to have 4 attackers the turn after this. Against the Invasion of Amonkhet, no shot does that card not flip next turn. No shot. Pick up an Oracle of Tragedy with their Invasion of Amonkhet. Drop down the Aetherblade Agent and just flip a 3/3. We did top deck the Halo Forger so I can one-shot Invasion of Amonkhet. What am I recasting? It has to be 3 mana or less. Could do Eyes of Gataxius. Oh, I could just do Render Inert. Halo Forger Render Inert here? Then I'm a little behind on board. If I can get this Halo Forger to kill this invasion without them killing my Halo Forger, then I could get ahead. Probably kill the Aetherblade Agent with something. But I don't think there is any 3 mana or less removal left. Yeah, there's no 3 mana or less removal. I could just Afara's Dispersal. I guess I just Render Inert. That's kind of a bummer. There's no Vanquish the Weak in anybody's grave, and there's no more Final Flourish in anybody's grave. It's Eyes of Gataxius or Render Inert or Afara's Dispersal. All we can choose from. I'm pretty sure I just Render Inert then and go for the insta-flip. Drawn to a Tidal Terror. So I can Halo Forger, but I can't cast anything off that. I could Oracle of Tragedy. Shuffle stuff in again. Or I could Scornblade Berserker so that I can get a 5/5. Having a 5/5 against their 4/4s and 3/3s does seem pretty good. Not good against the Death Toucher, but I can trade my 3/1 into the 3/3 Death Toucher. Let's get a 5/5, sure. So I've got a 5/5 now, I've got a 5/6 coming up. We try to just outsize our opponent on board. Gloomfang Mauler. Well, so much for outsizing our opponent. That's a 5/5 menace that puts 2 counters onto their 4/4, so they now have a 6/6 and a 5/5 menace, outclassing our 5/5. Oh, they're just going to make the 3/3 a 5/5 instead. Alright, fair enough. Either way, that's still multiple 5/5s against one 5/5. Oh, never mind. Temporal Cleansing. I am going to put Invasion of Amonkhet back into our deck. Yep, that's bad. I'm going to take 8. I would much rather leave Halo Forger to be able to block a flipped Aetherblade Agent. Now I do have a 5/6 for their 5/5. Can't do anything about the 5/5 menace. I guess I could block it with a 5/6 and a 1/1. Yeah, no, this is actually reasonable. If they didn't top deck anything here, then the board's on lock. Great. The board is not on lock. They immediately top deck removal for our 5/6. Wow. That was like almost the greatest recovery of all time. We had a stable board state about to top deck Invasion of Amonkhet, but they just top decked the removal for it. Yeah, now we're just dead in like 2 turns. Straight up have to chump or die. Yeah, no, I'm dead. Conversion Invasion of Amonkhet does not save me from another turn of this. Unless I draw something incredible. Nope. Alright, well, I gotta say, that game went on infinitely longer than I thought and went a lot better than I thought after a pretty bad start. We had a rough mulligan into a pretty weak hand, and our opponent just rolled right off the bat with multiple 2-for-1s. Captive Weird and Invasion of Amonkhet really early, so our opponent started miles ahead in card advantage. They also had multiple Eyes of Gitaxias and stuff, so it was a tremendously uphill battle from the start, and we managed to get our opponent into top deck mode, so take that as a moral victory there. Way better than I thought it would go. Pretty sure we were losing that game from the start regardless. But getting our opponent to a position where they can't do anything unless they top deck well, I think was about as much as we could have hoped for there. And we did get them into that position, and they did top deck well, so it is what it is. Did what we could as we head into game 2. Snap keep this hand. We got both of our colors, and we got some great 3-mana cards. A little bit slow, but we're on the play, so rolling things out starting on turn 3 is not the end of the world. Another blue-black mirror match because Arena's matchmaking. People have tested the data on Arena's matchmaking. The 17 lands, people have gone through the data on that, and it is not rigged, it just feels rigged. It was always really annoying, though. I don't love mirror matches. I think they're pretty boring, and it just feels like it happens all the time. Even if it doesn't actually happen all the time. I tell you what, though, this is not an exact mirror match, though, because I'm not running Halo Hopper, and I did not draft a Rona. Maybe I should have just cleansinged Rona last turn, just to slow them down, keep them off of their looting ability. But they're not doing much. So yeah, I guess I get to spend my mana on my 3/3, and if I don't draw anything good, then I'll just cleansing Rona now. Yeah, that's not great, and I can hold it up for a single blue, so bounce the Rona. This thing flips into like a monstrous trample creature that could cast some stuff from my hand for free potentially, if I ever block this. Alright, well, we're just going to play a bunch of 5/6s, I guess. Weird game, but okay. They've got nothing in their graveyard for our Halo Forager. I guess I could Eyes of Gitaxias with our Halo Forager, but that doesn't seem super good. They're just going to flip the order of the Alabaster Host. They've got a big spooky attacker. If they attack with everything, I'll trade my 3/3 into the 3/2 and bounce the 3/3. I guess I have a 5/6 coming up. I don't need to trade into the 3/2. It can't attack in any 5/6s. But I'll definitely bounce the 3/3 here and make them recast it. Also gets to set up my draws. Sure, it's only 2 mana for them to replay that, but then it's a lot of mana for them to flip it again. 5 mana total commitment to get the flipped half back on the board. Alright, time to start playing some Halo Foragers. I probably should have put this Oracle of Tragedy in the graveyard, but deathly afraid of milling. Just up 26 cards. Yeah, I definitely should have just milled the Oracle. But I've got some time. I still have a Tidal Terror and a Halo Forager to play these next 2 turns. So I don't have to drop an Oracle till quite some time from now. Whoa. Pass the turn, all of their mana untapped. They don't flip the order, they don't cast a Rona. There's just a 4 mana Deadly Derision for Tidal Terror. Could be double block plus -X removal. think that's all fine. I'll just play another Tidal Terror, and then later I'll shuffle all my Tidal Terrors back. Let's see what happens. Get in there, Tidal Terror on board. It connects, and it does. They're down to 13. Here's another one. Get in there, Octopi. Yes. Rise of the Fish. Oh, good God. Invasion of Innistrad is an incredible bomb rare. 4 mana for an instant that gives -13/-13 to anything would already be quite a solid card in this format. This is that plus put a 5 defense battle on your opponent that absolutely grinds out any long game if you flip it. You get 2 2/2s immediately if you flip it, and you get to exile. For 3 mana, you make a 2/2 zombie, exile a card from a grave. There has to be enough creatures in graves to keep doing that, but if this flips, then your opponent just 3-for-1s you immediately, and they now have a mana sink to make a bunch of zombies. So if it flips, they got a removal spell and 2 2/2s for 4 mana. And they just make 50 more zombies throughout the game. So if this Invasion of Innistrad flips, we're going to have a really bad time. So I'm going to do what I can to prevent that from flipping and hope that I can outrace them with this Tidal Terror. I can hit them for 5 unblockable, even if they get a bunch of 2/2s. So 3 turns and they're dead from Tidal Terror if they can't kill it. I could cleansing the Invasion of Innistrad, but that seems like a bad idea because it's going to give them more removal to kill my Tidal Terror later. Could Eyes of Gataxias with Halo Forge, or could Afara's Dispersal. None of those seem great. I think I'm just on Preening Champion and Oracle of Tragedy this turn. Gives me enough creatures to get Tidal Terror to be unblockable, because they could just chump here for a turn. I don't want them to chump. So I don't want them to flip this invasion, but if they don't draw removal, it's fine. You know what? I can just make it more likely that they die next turn by just playing multiple flyers right now. I'm losing some Halo Forager value to do that. That seems risky. Yeah, I'm just going to play another Oracle. I'm going to actually draw a discard. That is so sad, but I'm going to discard Invasion of Amonkhet to have another flyer to try to end them through their zombie tokens on the ground. If they have no removal, we can kill them even if they flip Invasion of Innistrad. If they have removal, they're going to have a flipped Invasion of Innistrad and they're not going to die next turn, which means it will be a severely uphill battle. But if it's just one removal spell, Preening Champion still kills them in 3 attacks, if I can survive that long. And they go ahead and play land number 6, play a Halo Forager. They can put one of our creatures in our hand. I guess I should have shuffled all my removal back in to play around Halo Forager. Alright, I mean, I still have a Tidal Terror to kill them with. If they bounce Oracle of Tragedy, they just lost. They were thinking about it. Alright, yeah, they go for the Tidal Terror. I was going to say, that would be an interesting line if they bounced the Tidal Terror. Or if they bounced the Oracle of Tragedy that they were looking at. They milled one card, put another on top, which means they're drawing removal to kill this Tidal Terror next turn. Halo Forager was the perfect card for them there because it gives them the flyer to block champion and the removal spell to stop Tidal Terror from killing them. Yeah, this is why I say Halo Forager is so dang powerful. If I top deck a land, I could Tidal Terror to make sure I have a 4th land. And then I could bounce their Forager back into their deck and have 2 flyers on the board. Also, Oracle of Tragedy, hope to hit a land. But then I guess I would still just draw and discard Tidal Terror anyway. But this way I could also stop them from flipping the invasion while I hit a land. Okay. So stop them from hitting invasion. Oh, I already have the 7 mana. I miscounted my lands. I already have the 7 mana. I didn't need another land, which means I discard this and just keep Tidal Terror. To play at a later time. Alright, put Halo Forager back into their library, second from the top. Oh, you know what the problem is with this? Rona's a big butthole. Rona can just draw this card and they can just top deck the Halo Forager immediately. I'm gonna keep this island in case they have something that makes me discard one, like Invasion of Amonkhet or the Rat. I'm pretty sure the top card of their library is a removal spell, but they can just Rona now, draw their removal spell, discard some nonsense out of these 3 cards, and then also draw Halo Forager. There's nothing good to recast with Halo Forager anymore, luckily. So they have to play the removal spell here. Or they do play the Halo Forager for a blocker. I mean, there's no options anymore unless they Rona and discard something. The Eyes of Gataxias? Okay. This might have worked out for us if we top deck removal, they're dead on the spot. Feel like I still need to keep them from the 2/2s ideally. But it's probably actually also better to have more creatures to give Tidal Terror unblockable. Sure. You got there. We'll let the Invasion of Innistrad flip now. Alright, top deck removal, top deck removal, top deck removal. Let's go. Vanquish the weak. Final Flourish. Cyber Cryptomancer is not removal, but it counters a removal spell from them. So I attack with both. One of these hits them, puts them dead to a single flyer or a single Tidal Terror, and I have a counterspell for one of their removal spells next turn. So they have to have a way to kill the champion and the terror. And they have to have a way to kill both of them and kill one of them twice. So they need to do 3 removal spells here. Because if they just kill the Preening Champion, I can use Cryptomancer in my 1/1 to tap to make Tidal Terror unblockable. If they just kill the Tidal Terror, I can just attack with Preening Champion. And the first time they try to kill either, I can just Cryptomancer. So unless they have a board wipe or 3 cheap enough removal spells, we might be able to make it through the Deluge of the Dead with unblockability and flyers. Corrupted Conviction, sack Rona to draw 2. They are digging through that library. Pass the turn is the play. I'm gonna cast this Flitting Gorilla so that I can tap Flitting Gorilla and my 1/1 Elemental to attack with Tidal Terror unblocked. And I can still have Cryptomancer up. This plays poorly if they have the card that copies a spell and a creature. But that's it. And that card's a rare. Attempt to get the unblockable attacks in. Deadly Derision for the Tidal Terror. Let's hexproof that. So they don't get a treasure token to spend on their next removal spell. So now they have to have 2 1-mana removal spells. They need to have double Afara's Dispersal to not die. Dispersal Tidal Terror and Dispersal Preening Champion. If I let Deadly Derision resolve and save Cryptomancer for the next removal spell, then I'm giving them a treasure token. So they could have like 1 Afara's Dispersal and 1 Final Flourish. A 1-mana removal spell and a 2-mana removal spell and still survive. This way it has to be exactly double 1-mana removal. So double Afara's Dispersal. All right, and that is going to be another long, hard-fought game. Luckily, that one is going to end in a victory for us, so we are now 1-1 moving into game number 3. Here we are for game 3 on the play with a really nice curve. We have Aetherblade Agent into the Eyes of Gitaxias, or some solid value to start things off. Our opponent's on that turn 1 Captive Weird, incredible card. For the 2-for-1 right off the bat, get a 3-3 and draw a card, similar to Eyes of Gitaxias, but much cheaper in terms of mana value. I guess 1 cheaper total mana value. 3 to flip, 1 to play is 4 total. This one is 3 to play and 2 to flip. Okay. Send in the Aetherblade Agent, and we could Cryptomancer if we want to keep it on board, which I will do if they block. Kill the Oracle of Tragedy and now have a 2-2 Death Touch on board, still around to kill something else later. They are going to draw and discard a card off of the Oracle of Tragedy. Discard an Izumi Freewheeler. So, blue-black, round number 3, let's go, I guess. Alright, they're going to flip the Captive Weird and see what they hit. It is another land to play next turn, so that has been a solid 2-for-1 for them. Speaking of solid 2-for-1s, I think I'm going to take this opportunity to hit them with Aetherblade Agent guaranteed. To get a free card draw off of it without having to spend a spell. Go up in card advantage here. Not impacting the board there, but against a single 3-3, I think that's okay. For now. An Expedition Lookout, that'll be really good later, not great now. Blight Reaper Thalit is very good. 5 mana. Can play Eyes of Gitaxias and flip a 3-3 as a blocker. 3-3 blocker is pretty fine. If they want to stop Mind Stinger from drawing another card, they have to lose 2 creatures to kill it, or trump block. I am down to 12. This is mildly greedy, but it's some more card draw. Alright, they are going to do the double block, so we'll get really good value from the Mind Stinger overall. We drew an extra card off of it. We killed 2 creatures. Great stuff from the Aetherblade Agent. Now let's drop our Eyes of Gitaxias, so we have our own 3-3 to trade into theirs. I think I will be willing to trade it. I do have a 4-4 coming up, but I'm down to 12. I think this is a reasonable trade, or a reasonable place to get them to spend a card. Gift of Completion. They're going to get their own 3/3 Incubator, and they're going to get their own Aetherblade Agent. Ooh, Tidal Terror coming up? It's a big finisher. It's not great against an Aetherblade Agent on board right now. I want to have a good blocker for this before I do anything else. And I would really rather not block the 3/3 Death Touch with a 2/2 and a 1/3, so I guess I'm playing a Scab and being willing to block that with a Halo Charge Scab. Probably pick up an Eyes of Gataxias here. Vanquish the Weak is tempting too. And I can chump with Cryptomancer into Vanquish the Weak if they flip. Yeah, it's going to cost most of their mana to flip this. Even if they pay the 2 life. And then we could just trump with our 0/1 and kill it with a Vanquish the Weak next turn. Another land is really good for them because now they can flip the Agent. Oh, interesting. I was going to say they could pay the 2 life to flip the Agent and flip their Incubator, but they chose to spend the mana instead of the life. So now they don't get to double that up here. Alright, I don't think I need to block a 3/3. I think I can hit for 4 and then take 3 on the crackback. Because with a 4/4 and a 2/2 flyer, I think we are winning the race a little bit. Eyes of Gataxias for another 3/3 Incubator. Now they can just double block a 4/4 with 2 3/3s. So now we gotta just hold the Scab back on blocks. Keep the 3/3s off of us. But that's alright, we can get in with our flyer every turn for 2 damage. Have a potential 5 power unblockable creature coming up. Let's see if our Tidal Terror gets to stick around. I guess it would have been okay to attack with Scab that turn and still go for Tidal Terror post-combat, because then we'd still have 1 blocker for the 3/3s, which is probably enough, and if the Scab hits them, then they're dead to 1 Tidal Terror swing, because they'd go to 4. Yeah, that probably would have been better. I think I should have sent in the Halo Charge Scab. This plays better against removal from them, but the other play, if they don't have removal, leaves them basically immediately dead, which is probably worth it. Yeah, I didn't see that line. That would have been pretty sweet. Send in the Scab, force a chump. Or put them to 1 swing dead to Tidal Terror. So anything worth putting on top of my deck? Not really. I could put an Aetherblade Agent on top, that's it. I think I'll just draw blind. Halo Forager, that is very good. They get to play another Final Flourish now. Wow, yeah, Final Flourish into Halo Forager. It's quite the play here. There goes Tidal Terror and my flyer. I should not have played that land yet. So that I could draw and discard a card here. I guess I could just shuffle 4 in instead to make Transcendent Message. Draw 4 better cards on average. Sure. Shuffle those in and I'm going to Transcendent Message during their end step. And hope that it's all gas. We get to draw 4 cards at instant speed here. Hope that's enough. Consuming Aetherborn. Wow, the life totals just went way in my opponent's favor. That is exceptional. They're going to deal 4 to me and gain 4. We'll be at 5. They'll be at 12. Good life total swing for our opponent. Come on, good card advantage swing for us, unless they're main decking Negate. In which case, the video's over right now. I'm not playing more Magic. Alright, no main deck Negate. So we get the draw 4. We've got a Final Flourish for the Halo Forager. Got a Skyclave Aerialist to play my own flyer afterwards. And a Temporal Cleansing for the 3/3 token or something. Just do this now. Let's see if they have a Cyber Cryptomancer. No Cyber Cryptomancer. I do have the mana to play the Aerialist and the Cleansing. So let's do that. Let's play the Cleansing on the 3/3. Can immediately roll in with the Halo Charge Scab. I guess I deal 4 and then they gain 2. Because I block their 2/2 lifelink with a 1/3, but that's fine. I don't take any damage on the crackback from the Aetherborn unless they hit another removal spell. Oh, good lord, what a draw. Alright, 4/4 Menace lifelink, and we hit a land, and I can't flip Aerialist now. I guess I lose. Alright. Oh my god, they could not stop drawing gas in the end. Good grief. That's just dead on board. If it's Deadly Derision after that. Well. I don't think there were any massive glaring mistakes that game. I think in hindsight, with the information, well, in hindsight, not in hindsight, but with the information we had, I think all our plays were fine. Going for the attack there and stuff like that, but good grief. Those final couple draws for them, or the final couple plays for them, did not work out well. We are going to be 1-2 heading into game 4 with keepable opener. It is regrettably keepable. Tidal Terror is an island, so it's high on mana and really slow because we don't get to do anything till like turn 5 with the Jin-Gitaxias, but we've got both of our colors. We have cheap interaction if they get aggressive, so we'll keep it. We've drawn 4 swamps before we've naturally drawn an island, so Jin-Gitaxias might look real bad here. Okay, we did draw an island now, which is great. Our opponent isn't doing anything either. And this is going to be one of my really unfun days of Magic, where we get to play against the same deck 4 times in a row, and it's the same deck that we're playing. Blue-black mirror match, round 4 in a row, and they have the revelation for Jin-Gitaxias, and now I have nothing in hand. Wait. Their hand must just be all removal. They just let me keep Jin-Gitaxias to get a 3/3 here. Pretty suspicious, I think. Let's drop a Lookout then. And wait to play Jin-Gitaxias till I have 7 lands. Because that makes stone cold 0 sense. If the hand is just not a bunch of removal to kill the Jin-Gitaxias. Or, I mean, it's just a 5/5. I guess they could just be like, well, they don't have any mana value 3 or greater spells to draw cards off of anyway. Oh, you know what it is? It could be the 1 and a blue counter spell they were holding up. Counter a creature unless I pay 4. I don't want to spend Cryptomancer to stop this. I think it's fine to just conversion it. Cool. Oh, I milled an island though. That's not great. I do want another island so I can hold up Cryptomancer with Jin. Again, we know they have something they're going to do on Jhin. I need to wait until I get 3 more lands if I want to cast Jhin through the counterspell. And I need to wait until I have 1 more island to cast it through a removal spell. Reigning Champion. Super bad for me, because even if I use removal on Champion, they still got some value off of it, getting a 1/1. They already know about the final Flourish. I kind of like using the revealed removal, but Flourish can kill stuff up to 6 toughness, and Vanquish the Weak only kills like 3/3s or smaller, so I think I do Vanquish the Weak. Yes, Vanquish the Weak could draw a card off Jhin Gitaxias, so there's that also. They've still got the mana up for the counterspell. They definitely got the mana up for the counterspell. 3 mana up, 1 turn until I can cast Jhin Gitaxias through the counterspell. I can cast it through removal now, but I'm 1 turn from casting it through the counter. At this point, they probably just have double counterspell. They probably have the 1 and a blue counter unless I pay 4, and like the 6 mana counter no matter what. Halo Forager is an exceptional magic card. See what they want to do with it. Yeah, I guess they can just do that. No, they don't have to play the counterspell. Like, oh, you're 1 mana away from paying for the counterspell? Halo Forager. They've still got the mana up for it, too. Well, I don't have the 4 mana for the Scab, but at this point, my opponent's 5 cards ahead in card advantage. We're pretty much losing the game regardless. I just want to see if they had the counterspell. Just want them to show me it. Yeah. So, can't do anything this game. 0 shot. Kind of feels like how the draft went. I think this deck was decent. It's one of the weaker blue-black decks for sure, but that's because blue-black is a super strong archetype, as you can see from every single one of our opponents. So, I still think this deck averages to 2-3, 3-3, 4-3, something like that. Just had a bad run of it today. It is unfortunate. I'm still going to play this out, but we're very far behind. They're 3 cards away from our Expedition Lookout being unblockable. Show me the Saiba Cryptomancer, or the Artistic Refusal. As far as Dispersal, their own Halo Foragers, they can cast another instant or sorcery from grave. Does seem very, very strong. Counter. 1 mana, counter a removal spell, surveil 2, and redo the Halo Forager enter the battlefield effect. Could things go any worse? They have multiple breeding champions, so yes, they could. Eyes of Gitaxias into Flitting Gorilla are the draws. They're at 7 out of 8 cards in grave now, which is a start. Oracle of Tragedy probably shuffles in stuff, though. No, draws and discards. Okay, Expedition Lookout will be getting in then. Unless it dies, but I've got a Cryptomancer up. I have enough mana I can wait to flip this Incubator until my turn, just so that I never tap out a Cryptomancer. Oh, they might just Halo Forger for removal and then do another removal. No, they're gonna Eyes of Gataxius. They've got a single blue mana up now. That should not be enough to remove Expedition Lookout from the game, so we can flip our 3/3 now for the mana cost reduction. Drawn to Skyclave Aerialist. 2 to play, 4 to flip. Leaves me with exactly enough for Cryptomancer. Alright. Nice little draw card flyer. It's big enough to block Halo Forger all day long. Now I have a very, very slow game plan. Go Expedition Lookout, go. A lot more than I could say earlier. Got a plan, I've got a hope, I've got a dream. If they want a cleansing the Invader, that's fine. I need to save Cryptomancer for Expedition Lookout. Wow, Dispersal is really bad against their deck. So I can... Good grief. I can bounce a Preening Champion or a Halo Forger with it. If I Cryptomancer now, they don't get to hit me with Champion at least. I just take 3 in the sky for a turn. I'm pretty sure that has me at the point where I have to pop the Cryptomancer because I die in 3 attacks. If that resolves. Which means now the last card is just removal for Lookout. Probably. Let's vanquish the weak for the Gorilla. Their board state is a lot wider. In mine, we're probably dying here, but I still think Aerialist is one of the best draws in my deck, so I should put it on top here. I guess Dispersal's good against their 3/3 token. I'm pretty sure only 1 creature died this turn. Oh, if Inga dies, that's 3. Yeah, 1 creature already died, so if I trade with Inga, boom, that's 3 creatures, because this dies and that dies. God, Inga is nasty. I don't really want to kill the 3/3 because I have Dispersal, but if I don't block here, take like 11. I just have no shot. Doesn't really matter what I do. I have a bunch of really bad options. Hopefully I hit a land off the top this time. That would be pretty good. Yes. So now I can Dispersal even on a non-attacker. They're at 18 life. It's quite the draw. Best instant or sorcery from their grave goes back on top of their library now. Final Flourish it is. They can kill whatever creature they want of ours by sacking the Phyrexian that I've nullified. Send in an Oracle of Tragedy. Do they want to shuffle 4 cards in? I don't really mind if they shuffle 4 cards in, do I? I don't think I do. If they draw and discard a card, they just mill the Final Flourish. Alright, they're going to shuffle in Preening Champion, draw spell, and some removal. Which means they don't have Final Flourish on top anymore because they shuffled. Hey, speaking of great draws, here's our own Halo Charge Scab. We don't think our Grave's super good for this, but we have Scab into Flourish on our side of the board as well. Do the same thing. If they attack with everybody, I block their 3-1 with a 2-4. Block their 4-4, my 4-4. 1-1, 1-3, take like 4, 5, 6 damage. Unless I bounce something, then I could just take like 3. I think I'm in an excellent position to be attacking, but if I don't attack, I'm never going to get anywhere. I don't die, unless they top deck. Okay, I might die. Could have bounced my own thing there in response, but I'd still only have 2 blockers up. If I do that, which would be block, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, go to 1. I don't know, maybe the play was to bounce my own thing and go to 1. I don't think we ever had a good line all game available to us. I don't know if I played correctly, but playing correctly still has me miles behind this entire game. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. We know what we're top decking. It's Final Flourish. I guess if I surveil into something incredible, I have the tiniest chance in the universe. I think they only killed 1 creature this turn, so if I kill Inga, that's 2. This is probably stupid, but this way I could kill Inga without triggering her. Take 5, I have no flyers left, so Final Flourish, or sorry, take 7, no flyers left. Final Flourish would still have me dead. Yeah, no, this is dumb. I don't think I have any line that leaves me alive next turn. This is the best way against creatures on ground, but they have 2 creatures in sky too. Nice. Well, that was pretty devastating. As I said before, I think this deck on average does a lot better than that. I don't think it's an excellent deck, but I don't think it deserved a 1-3. I think 2-3 to 4-3 is the average for this deck, and we just had a really bad run, really bad time. We played against the best deck in the format 4 rounds in a row, play their mirror match every single game this draft, which wasn't particularly fun or interesting, and we got annihilated because our opponents had just the better version of our deck every single round. I think even the round that we won, our opponent just had a better version of our deck. So it is what it is. I'm not super unhappy with how I drafted. I'm pretty sure I'm definitely supposed to end up in blue there. Like, pick 1, pack 1, Jin Gataxias. We got a late Eyes of Gataxias and a Fara's Dispersal in that pack 1 as well. So I don't think I would entertain any argument that we're not supposed to be in blue. Maybe I held on to Invasion of Amonkhet too much and we were supposed to be a different blue archetype, like blue-white, blue-red, or blue-green, but we were definitely supposed to be blue in this draft pod. But yeah, Invasion of Amonkhet and Halo Forager were the really good things out of our black. Informant's pretty good, Final Flourish is great, Vanquish the Weak's pretty good. Didn't get Merciless Repurposing or Deadly Derision though. So I don't think the black card quality there was quite as high. So maybe we could have found a better secondary color in the draft pod. But overall, I think I drafted pretty well. And yeah, I mean, maybe there was better stuff we could do in the gameplay. Didn't really feel like it. Kind of just felt like getting hosed all day, getting absolutely beaten down by life and Magic Arena. Feels great. 1 and 3, I guess, will be for the day. Well, that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons very much for supporting this channel, as well as you for watching. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below, and if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. Other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.